In the heart of the countryside, where golden wheat fields stretched endlessly toward the horizon and the air carried the sweet scent of wildflowers, there lived a hardworking farmer named Samuel. For over 20 years, he had worked the same plot of land, rising before dawn and laboring until the stars appeared in the evening sky. His calloused hands told the story of countless seasons of planting, tending, and harvesting. On this particular evening, as the sun began its slow descent toward the western hills, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and crimson, Samuel was making his way home along the familiar country road. His wooden cart, pulled by his faithful workhorse Thunder, was loaded high with golden ears of corn, the fruits of another successful harvest. Thunder had been Samuel's companion for nearly a decade. The sturdy brown horse had never failed him, carrying heavy loads through all kinds of weather, never complaining, always reliable. Samuel often said that Thunder understood him better than most people did. The horse's gentle eyes seemed to reflect wisdom and patience, qualities that had served them both well through the years. As they moved slowly along the dirt road, Samuel felt a deep sense of contentment wash over him. The rhythmic clip-clop of Thunder's hooves, the gentle creaking of the cartwheels, and the soft whisper of the evening breeze through the corn stalks created a symphony of rural peace. This was the life he had chosen, the life he loved, simple, honest, connected to the earth and its seasons. But as they rounded a familiar bend in the road, disaster struck without warning. The right wheel of the cart suddenly plunged deep into a hidden pothole that recent rains had carved into the roadway. The cart lurched violently to one side, and Samuel felt his heart sink as he realized they were completely stuck. Samuel's first instinct was to encourage Thunder to pull harder. "Come on, boy. You can do this," he called out, snapping the reins with increasing urgency. But as minutes turned into an hour, and the cart refused to budge, Samuel's encouragement transformed into something much darker. Frustration consumed him like a wildfire. The peaceful man who had been enjoying the sunset moments before was replaced by someone he barely recognized. "Pull, Thunder! Pull!" he shouted, his voice growing harsh and desperate. He began to strike the loyal horse with his whip, each blow accompanied by increasingly angry commands. Thunder, who had never failed his master before, strained against the harness with every ounce of strength in his powerful body. Sweat poured down his flanks, his breathing became labored, and his gentle eyes now reflected confusion and pain. Why was his beloved master, who had always treated him with kindness, now hurting him? The horse's heart broke not from the physical pain, but from the betrayal of trust. But Samuel, consumed by his own frustration and panic, was blind to his faithful companion's suffering. All he could see was his problem, his inconvenience, his desperate situation. The corn needed to be delivered to the market early the next morning, and here he was, stuck in a hole with no help in sight. As the sun disappeared completely behind the hills and darkness began to settle over the countryside, Samuel's anger gave way to despair. He had exhausted both himself and his horse, and they were no closer to freedom than when they had first become stuck. Finally, feeling utterly defeated, Samuel climbed down from his cart and sat heavily on the ground beside it. The weight of his situation pressed down on him like a physical burden. He looked up at the star-filled sky and, for the first time in years, found himself praying with desperate intensity. "God," he cried out, his voice echoing across the empty fields, "I need help. Please send me a guardian angel, a strong one. This cart is heavy, loaded with corn, and I can't get out of this hole. Thunder is exhausted, and I don't know what else to do. Please, send someone to help me." His words hung in the cool night air, carried away by the gentle breeze. Samuel closed his eyes and continued to pray, begging for divine intervention, for a miracle to save him from his predicament. And then, something extraordinary happened. A soft, warm light began to glow in the darkness before him, growing brighter and more radiant with each passing second. Samuel opened his eyes and gasped in amazement as a figure materialized from the light, tall, serene, with eyes that held the depth of eternity and a presence that radiated peace and wisdom. "An angel," Samuel whispered, hardly able to believe what he was seeing. The angel stood before him, neither imposing nor intimidating, but filled with a quiet authority that made Samuel feel both humbled and hopeful. The celestial being's robes seemed to shimmer with starlight, and when he spoke, his voice carried the gentleness of a summer breeze. Samuel scrambled to his feet, his heart racing with excitement and relief. "Thank God you're here," he exclaimed, his voice trembling with emotion. "Please, I beg you, pull my cart out of this hole. My horse can't take it anymore, and I've been stuck here for hours. I know you're strong enough, you're an angel." The angel looked at Samuel with eyes full of compassion, but also with a wisdom that seemed to peer directly into his soul. After a moment of silence that felt like an eternity, the angel spoke. "My dear friend," the angel said, his voice gentle but firm, "I was not sent here to pull your cart out of the hole. I was sent to make you try. You see, if you continue to sit there without lifting a finger to help yourself, not even God can assist you." Samuel stared at the angel in shock, his mouth opening and closing as he struggled to process these unexpected words. But I've been trying. I've been here for over an hour." The angel's expression remained patient and kind, but his next words cut through Samuel's excuses like a sword of truth. "Have you, Samuel? In all this time, have you once gotten down from your cart to examine the problem? Have you tried to push while thunder pulls? Have you looked for rocks or wood to place under the wheel for leverage? Or have you simply sat in your cart, beating your faithful horse and demanding that others solve your problems?" The weight of the angel's words hit Samuel like a physical blow. Shame washed over him as he realized the truth. He had spent over an hour demanding action from everyone except himself. He had beaten his loyal horse, he had cried out to heaven, but he had never once thought to get his own hands dirty. I didn't get down because... Samuel's voice broke as he struggled to find the words. "Because I thought this task was too difficult for me. I'm just one person. I'm not strong enough. The cart is so heavy, and the hole is so deep." The angel smiled then, a smile so full of understanding and love that it brought tears to Samuel's eyes. "Samuel," the angel said softly, "God helps those who help themselves. I cannot assist you if you won't make even the smallest effort. Your strength may be limited, but when combined with faith and effort, it becomes limitless." With a lump in his throat and his heart pounding with a mixture of shame and determination, Samuel walked to the back of his cart. He looked at Thunder, who was watching him with that patient, forgiving eyes, and whispered, "I'm sorry, old friend. You deserved better from me." Samuel placed his hands against the rough wooden back of the cart. The task before him seemed impossibly difficult. How could his thin arms move a cart loaded with hundreds of pounds of corn? But as he remembered the angel's words, something stirred within him. It wasn't just physical strength he needed, it was the strength that comes from taking responsibility, from trying even when success seems impossible. "Thunder," he called gently to his horse, "let's try this together, boy. Easy now." Samuel pushed with every ounce of strength in his body while Thunder pulled with renewed hope. And to Samuel's absolute amazement, on the very first coordinated effort, the cart rolled smoothly out of the hole as if it had never been stuck at all. Samuel spun around, his face beaming with joy and wonder, ready to thank the angel who had shown him the way. But the space where the celestial being had stood was empty. Only the gentle night breeze and the distant sound of crickets remained. As Samuel climbed back onto his cart and gently urged Thunder forward, his mind raced with the profound lesson he had just learned. The angel's words echoed in his heart, "God helps those who help themselves." For the first time in his life, Samuel truly understood that divine help doesn't replace human effort, it multiplies it. All this time, he had been waiting for someone else to solve his problems, someone else to remove his obstacles, someone else to carry his burdens. But the real miracle wasn't in having his problems solved for him, it was in discovering his own power to overcome them. As they continued down the moonlit road, Samuel reflected on how many times in his life he had made the same mistake. How many opportunities had he missed because he was waiting for the perfect moment or for someone else to make the first move? How many dreams had he abandoned because he convinced himself they were too difficult for someone like him? The angel had shown him that the very act of trying, of taking that first step, of making that initial effort, unlocks a power greater than we can imagine. It's not about being strong enough to solve every problem alone, it's about being brave enough to start. Samuel's story isn't just a tale from a country road, it's a mirror reflecting the moments in your own life when you've sat in your cart, waiting for someone else to solve your problems. How many dreams are you keeping stuck in the mud because you're waiting for the perfect conditions? Right now, as you read these words, there's something in your life that needs your effort, your first step, your willingness to get your hands dirty. Maybe it's a business idea you've been thinking about for years. A relationship that needs healing but requires you to make the first move. A health goal that demands you take action today, not tomorrow. A skill you want to develop but keep postponing. A dream that seems too big for someone like you. The angel's message to Samuel is the same message for you. I cannot help you if you won't make even the smallest effort. Your breakthrough isn't waiting for you to become stronger, smarter, or more prepared. It's waiting for you to become willing to try. The universe conspires to help those who help themselves, but it can't assist someone who refuses to take the first step. Stop beating your horse, stop blaming circumstances, other people, or bad luck for where you are. Get down from your cart of excuses and put your hands on the problem. The moment you decide to push while asking for help, the moment you combine your effort with your faith, you'll discover that the obstacles that seemed immovable were only waiting for you to try. Your cart isn't as stuck as you think it is. Your strength isn't as limited as you believe. Your dreams aren't as impossible as they appear. Don't let this story end with Samuel, let it begin with you. If this message stirred something in your heart, if you recognized yourself in Samuel's struggle, then this story has done its job. But stories only change lives when they inspire action. Hit that like if you're ready to stop waiting and start trying. Tell us in the comments, what's the cart in your life that you've been afraid to push? What's one small step you can take today? Share this story with someone who needs to hear it, that friend who's been stuck and waiting for their break, that family member who's given up on their dreams, that colleague who keeps making excuses. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is remind someone that they have more strength than they realize, more power than they know, and more help available than they can imagine, but only if they're willing to try. Your angel is waiting. Your breakthrough is ready. The only question is, will you get down from the cart? Subscribe for more life-changing stories that will transform your perspective and ignite your potential.